The show with me doing a lot of talking, and the show with you doing a lot of watching and listening. I'm Brent Reed. This is Downright Sports, and it's November 17th. Yeah, let's go with that. So November 17th, and we dive in with the a lot of stuff to talk about today. Nothing of importance, but today I reveal my first ever Downright Sports. I'm gonna have a crowd of people cheering for this. You know what I'm saying. You'll hear it. Downrange Sports Power Ranking NFL. The NFL is like almost halfway done, and time to see who's the best, who's the worst, and basically I'm gonna do the top five. That's it. But we dive into the must-know news, and we kick it off with three NBA teams have decided that they will no longer stay in Trump hotels when they're on road games. Those teams are the Milwaukee Bucks, the Memphis Grizzlies, and the Dallas Mavericks. I'm not surprised with the Mavericks since Mark Cuban and Donald Trump are butting heads and not cool. And let me say President-elect Donald Trump. But those three teams will not be staying at a Trump hotel anytime soon. Tim Duncan, my favorite NBA player of all time in my generation. Let me be clear, my generation, not my favorite all-time player, but my favorite player when I was, the guy I wanted to emulate as a ball player. Tim Duncan, his number will be retired by the Spurs. The retirement date I wrote down sometime in December, but they will retire his number 21, never to be worn ever again. I think the only other number retired by the Spurs is two. 44 by George Gervin, the Iceman, and 50 by the Admiral David Robinson, and now 21 by Mr. Fundamentals will never be worn again. And finally, the Presidential Medal of Freedom will be given to Vin Scully, Michael Jordan, and Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, otherwise known as Lew Alcindor. They will be given the Presidential Medal of Freedom. This award is handed out to people that have contributed somewhat in society that didn't serve in a military purpose. So far, 26 athletes have received this medal. The names of Hank Aaron, Muhammad Ali, Billie Jean King have received this award. Since the award's been given out, Obama has given out 9 to athletes. The next president, George W. Bush, has given out 8. So those guys were definitely sports fans. Makes you wonder, is Trump a sports guy? He's definitely tried to own teams and sucked at it. Anyway, that's the must-know news. We're going to take a small, quick break. We return back with the first ever Downright Sports NFL Mega Power Rankings. I keep coming up with a different name each time. Downright Sports. All right, welcome back. Today, we're going to have the first ever Downright Sports Mega NFL Power Rankings of 2016 Extravaganza. I'm not writing all of that. I'm not putting that in the bottom. It's just going to be Mega Power Rankings. That's a lot of stuff. Anyway, I sat down for all of 6 minutes and wanted to come up with my own power rankings. Everybody always puts out a power ranking of who they feel is the best team. I had the NFLs pulled up a second ago. Let me see if I can bring it back. Yeah, here it is. I have it back. Hopefully no audio kicks up like that's about to happen. I took care of that. But the ESPN has a power rankings, and I think it kind of mirrors the NFL's also. I don't think the ESPN and the NFL kind of are very close people. And if either one of them wanted to hire me, I would not be upset, even though I talk smack about both a lot. But, that's what you get to do when you have your own airwaves. Anyway, what my power rankings had to be, you had to be at least, you had to lead your division or have a very good record. You had to have a pretty decent schedule, pretty decent tough schedule. You had to, and you got to be in the, top something. You just can't be at the bottom of the litter and make it. That won't fly in my book. Not here. Not here. Anyway, so I was trying to pull up the NFL's.com's power rankings. I don't think they do power rankings because they don't care about stuff like that because they're the NFL. Like, what do we need that for? Everybody else just does it. So I'll keep ESPN's up. That would be my competition for right now. So let's go with mine. And some of it is going to be a little similar to ESPN, so don't judge. So I went with Dallas as number 1, Oakland and the Chiefs tied for number 2, New England number 3, Seattle number 4, and the Washington football team number 5, otherwise known as the Washington Redskins. And the reasoning behind me logic had to do with small stuff. So, for example, Dallas is number 1 to me. Number 1, they have the best record in all of the NFL, so that kind of helps. Number 2, they are number 5 in offense, so they rank 5th in offense, number 11 in defense. So they're in the top 15 in those 2 categories there, which everybody on my list I can't say the same for. Then Oakland. The reason why Oakland and the Chiefs are number 2 because they're tied for the division. The Chiefs has a slight lead over Oakland because the Chiefs beat Oakland, but both teams have played some very good games. Both teams have had some very good comebacks. Oakland is 5-0 on the road. The Chiefs are 4-0 at home, so that right there gives them a slight edge. Oakland is ranked 7th in offense, 25th in defense, so their defense is atrocious. While the Chiefs, on the other hand, are ranked. I don't have where their rank is. We'll come back to that. I'll write it on the bottom. I want to move on. New England is 3rd only because New England suffered. Their schedule was kind of puffy to me in the beginning. I felt like they didn't really annihilate people early on. They still have a good record. They're 4-0 on the road, 6-1 against their division. Their division is the worst division in all of football. New England basically walks a dog on that division. But they're 9th on offense, 16th on defense. So they're kind of right there. And don't forget, they might have been higher because Tom Terrific was sitting out for most of for the first 4 games. Finally, Seattle is 4th because Seattle does play a little tougher conference. They travel across the country. They just traveled across and beat New England last week in a very good game. They're 8th in defense and 23rd in total offense. That might be because Russell was hurt early in the year, but they don't have beast mode anymore. So, but their defense is still one of the best in all of football. Finally, the Washington Redskins. Now, their schedule hasn't been the easiest in the world, but it also hasn't been the toughest. But the Skins are a little bit better than we give them credit for. They're 5-3. They have beaten who's in front of them. Now, my Giants are ahead of them, but I feel the Giants are a little sketch. So I am putting the Redskins in that 5th spot because they have shown that they are better. They without 3-2 at home, 2-1-1, so they have a tie. But they're ranked 6th in total offense and 18th in total defense. So they have a little bit better defense than Oakland, so they do a little bit better job there. But I got the Skins there, and I might have made a mistake if you want to know the truth. Change it up. I know ESPN's, I'll blow through theirs real fast. ESPN is Dallas, Seattle, New England, Denver, and the Chiefs. Don't know how in the hell Denver is ranked over the Chiefs or Oakland, but whatever. That's politics. Anyway, the first ever Downright Sports Mega Power Rankings. You heard it here first, everybody. We're going to take a short, because all breaks on my show is short. We're going to come back and we're going to talk about one of my favorite groups of all time, A Tribe Called Quest. Say it together, A Tribe Called Quest. Brent Reed. Yes. So, this past weekend on SNL, we saw the return of A Tribe Called Quest on TV with also Dave Chappelle, which if you haven't seen it, go on Hulu or wherever and watch it. It was great. I have my interesting apparel on today to honor A Tribe Called Quest or just brothers like that. But the Tribe came out with a new album And ladies and gentlemen, I can't stop listening to it. It's very good. It's called We Got It From Here. It's called We Got It From Here. Thank you for your service. Such a good album. And I'm going to play some of it. You can hear it in the background. Excellent. But it's, you got it. Phife Dawg has passed. He passed away last year, but they recorded it before he passed. So it's great that we got him because I was a little bit concerned. But I always try to run parallel hip hop, rock and roll because the two worlds are one and the same. Both make stands, both talk about what's going on in the world when they're at their best. Rock and roll did. They always represented the times. We'll have another show. We kind of dive into that. But I am going to do a show where I pretty much go in and compare which rock groups are, which rock groups and rap groups are comparable to each other. But in any way, the Tribe Called Quest fits in hip hop in its own particular way. A lot of people talk about NWA. A lot of people talk about Public Enemy, and rightfully so. A lot of people talk about what Bad Boy did, Biggie Smalls, Tupac Shakur, But to understand hip hop, not gangster rap, hip hop. Because it all started with hip hop at its core. It started with an MC, started with a drum machine, it started with a DJ, it started with the mic, it started with the rhymes, it started with editing, it started with slicing, it started with cutting. It started with that. A tribe symbolizes that. And nobody does it better than the Tribe. Dr. Dre, yeah, but the Tribe, the Tribe takes jazz. The Tribe takes classic music and turns it into classic music. Like, you can't say that about everybody. And it's funny because I feel like I could be reading more into it, but the title is Thank You for Your Service. We got it from here. That's like basically telling everybody who's out now, like, yo, you did your thing. We are back. Let me show you how this is really done. And when you listen to that album, man, I mean, if you get a chance, go ahead and listen to it. If you got Apple Music, just download it. If not, steal it, Spotify, or whatever. But this is music at its core, talking, giving a message. I listen to a lot of this crazy crap now. I got there's your time for Gucci. There's your time for Future. There's your time for French Montana. But it's repetitive kid rap. Let me say the same things over and over again so you just catch on and you just tap out and listen to my god awful music. The Tribe gives you music. Tribe gives you music. I can't specify that anymore. But we will do a show where basically we talk more about the Tribe and more other groups. We will. Whole music show. I'm calling it now. Anyway, this has been great. Another show in the box. Another show in the iPad. The next show film, though, I am getting a new tripod to shoot the whole show because it's going to have a remote. Hopefully it works. I'm waiting for it now. But thanks, everybody. Enjoy the day. Enjoy your weekend. I'm Brent Reed. Yeah. See ya.